Well, we got hit with another inch of rain today, like we absolutely needed any more freaking rain. But since it rained, I got a lot of stuff done inside that I wanted to do. I want to show it to you, share with you some updates, and check out what we got on the crane right there. Isn't that cool? Our decal guy just left, and so we put H2O Mechanic on the boom. Put our company's name right there on the side of the hydraulic box. Take you over here to the rig. Something cool came in. We'll address that towards the end of the video. I took the liberty about a week ago and I painted the front bumper. So we cleaned it all up. Used some single stage paint. Got it looking pretty good. Turned out really nice. Everything is 19 years old at this point, but got some new letters on that front. And then basically the idea was kind of like a billboard, you know. We used to have our company name there, but we opted to just put the YouTube channel on the side of the drilling rig now. So that'll be cool. I do need to get like a YouTube play button, and I'm gonna put it right there to like kind of advertise that that is what that is and not the company name. So what I was doing yesterday, you know, doing a lot of cleanup. I enjoy the process of keeping my equipment looking really nice. So what I did yesterday in the rain, I washed the truck. I brought it in, dried it off, and I waxed it. I went heavy on it. I put the buffer on it, got it all nice and clean. I have since drove it home. I've got a little bit, like you can tell, but this thing is absolutely mint. She is gorgeous looking. I mean, just look at the glare. I mean, fabulous, right? And I polished the wheels. So I like a lot of y'all, I watch Cletus McFarland, right? So he always has these giveaways. So I decided to enter the giveaway. I was gonna buy some stuff. So what I ended up buying was some car polish and some of Sam's metal polish. Works pretty good. And that's what I polished the wheels with. And that's what I polished the diamond plate with. So isn't that freaking awesome looking right there? Just mint, dude. Turned out great. I just finished doing this today. But I wanted the truck to look good, you know. We're slowly closing in on the end of winter. So that means busy season's about to start, and I wanted the truck to look good. So got that all shined up, and we got this all shined up. So the truck is ready to go, and the crane is ready to go. Now, on to what I wanted to talk about. So rather than jumping straight to this, I want to share a little bit of something with you. If you remember in my last hydrofrack video, how we had the packer swell up in this area right here, it is still swollen. I don't know if you can actually tell it in the video, but this section here is still more swollen than the back section. I think you can actually tell that that's still swollen. So basically we inflated it in a void, and that was the issue. I don't think we ruined the packer, but we got really close to it. So I opted to make a change, and I had come up with this theory in my head about how to inflate this packer, like the new way that we do it now versus the old way that we used to, and combine the two together. Now let's go over to the other side and let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, Bill Bryant, he's another well driller who basically tried to copy this setup on the Frack. And he showed me pictures of his setup on how his inflation pump worked. And it works on hydraulics. So it just spins like a small pressure washer pump. And he controls the hydraulic lever to spin the pump slow or fast to force the fluid in it to inflate the packer. I don't have that ability. Mine is connected straight to 12 volts, and it's either on or off. And let me show you our current setup compared to what I had in my head trying to build something. This is just a typical dump trailer hydraulic system. Just a small little, probably a 1/5 or 1/4 horsepower 12-volt motor with a 4.4 gallon fluid tank. We use peanut oil, vegetable oil to flow through it in order to inflate the packer. Now, Durapacker, the guy who sells the packers, he didn't like the fact that I'm using vegetable oil, or basically you have to use oil because this system was designed to run hydraulics. So we tried a thin fluid, it wouldn't work. He told me a month ago, if you wanted to run a thicker viscosity fluid, you need to run propylene glycol. Now, propylene glycol, never thought of it, but it is food grade safe, and it's a thicker, fluid that will work in this situation. But our issue on the frack has always been the length of time it takes to deflate the packer. And that's due to the fact that we're pumping this oil into the packer under pressure, and then we're hoping that natural pressure pushing back over 20 to 30 minutes will deflate the packer to push the fluid, the 4.4 gallons of fluid, back into this tank. And it always takes a really long time. And as time has gotten on, it's taken more and more and more time. So what I believe is, somewhere in throughout all this 180 foot of hose, half a dozen fittings, connections, valves, all this stuff, we may have, if you see this, so this is kind of gumming up, and I think that might be what we're having an issue with, is this oil, because it's just food grade oil, it's probably gumming up, and it's probably closing the orifices to where when it comes time for it to deflate, the flow back is extremely slow. So I came up with this thought in my mind, well, why can't we hook up a 12-volt motor directly to a 3-piston pump? Instead of using this pump here, which is like a rotary vane pump, it needs a specific viscosity of oil in order to not cavitate, and that's what we discovered. Too thin of fluid, it cavitates, it won't build pressure, and the pump absolutely screams and hates it. But this way, it actually worked. Now, I prefer the old method that we used to have on this truck years and years ago. We had a 5 horsepower Honda pressure washer motor here with a pressure washer pump, and that's what sat here. But you had to fire up the pressure washer motor, and then it's going to instantly take the fluid and fill up the packer. Well, it all happens way too fast. Way too fast. And then, as time went on, if you've noticed throughout a lot of my fracking videos, 15, 20, 30 minutes in, the original 1500 PSI that we would have had inflated on our packer will settle down to 1000 PSI. Well, how do you bump that pressure back up when it's hooked to a gasoline powered motor? Well, you would pull it and fire it, but if it fires up and revs up, you'll be at 2000, 2500 PSI in a matter of like 3 or 4 seconds. So you would have to turn it on and turn it right back off. It was frustrating. That was just the original design from how it was back in the late 80s. And then we converted it to this probably 8 years ago, and this has worked fine ever since. But I like the fact that you can modulate the controls with a simple push button. Now let me take you upstairs and I'll show you the pump I'm talking about. So if we come over here, this is the old pump that was on our 450WS. And we opted to change this out for a bean pump, and I didn't want to leave it since it was still good. I'd actually rebuilt this head at this point 5 years ago. But this is essentially the type of setup that we need if we had hydraulics like my friend Bill Bryant does on his frack. Because his unit has hydraulics already. All he had to do was tee into the system, run a line, run a return, run a valve, and you could slowly spin this hydraulic pump, which would slowly spin this 3-piston plunger pump, and you could inflate or deflate your packer as fast or as slow as you want. So I wanted to take something like this, pump and hook it directly to the 12-volt motor to where I can spin it as I need it. Well, let me show you. You know, I swear one day I'm going to invent something that somebody hasn't already invented. So this is what's crazy. This was sold by the gentleman who sold us the packer for the frack unit. Now, I had looked back in my receipts from a decade ago, pulled up the information on our packer, gave it to Bill. Bill bought the same packer we did. So I ended up getting the updated number for that guy in the company, and I said, hey, is there a way we can get a 3-piston plunger pump connected to a 12-volt DC motor that we can use to inflate the packer? And he goes, well, I already make something like that. So here it is. Voila. 12-volt motor, small 3-piston plunger pump. This will inflate our packer and allow our packer to deflate a lot faster due to the fact that we can use thinner fluid. And basically what they use is pink RV antifreeze. It's alcohol-based antifreeze to where it won't freeze and bust any of this stuff, and it's thin enough to where the fluid can flow forward and back. The only thing we have to do is flush the system of all the oil and all the peanut oil, vegetable oil that we have in it right now. We got to get all that out of the lines and all that flushed out of the packer before we do this. But I love it. Absolutely love it. I've been kind of excited about it. I will say this, it's expensive. What you see here is essentially like a pressure washer, but most electric pressure washers you would see are 120 volt. So you need to find a motor that's this size that runs on 12 volt, which is kind of hard to do. And that was my dilemma. You know, I could have tried to piecemeal what we have over there, take that motor off and try to connect it to the bigger pump or buy a pump. To me, it's like, if a company already makes it, the right thing to do is support that company, and all of the questions are answered and you're done, you know? So that way, if I have an issue with this unit the way it is, all I got to do is call up that company and say, hey, I've got X, Y, and Z problem, and he'll be like, oh, this is your fix, yada, yada, yada. So that'll be cool. I'm just noticing now that we've got a nice fuse in there. I haven't really taken the time to look at this yet. I've been really busy this morning. I just had a little bit of downtime here to shoot this video for y'all. But so this will be our pressure line. They have it set up for 1/4 inch, and ours is a 3/8 line. So I'm going to get a different fitting for that to where we can convert it. It should drop right in. Should be a really, really easy install, because this is just, he says, all you got to do is hook 12 volts to it. Well, our current setup is almost identical to this, except ours is a vane pump and this is a 3-piston plunger pump. So this, in my opinion, is going to work a lot better. Now, if you see here, he had this like cage built on it to where nothing would break. We had to cut that cage off because it measured 15.5 inches, and our damn tool bins on that truck are 15 inches. So we didn't need it anyways. So what we're going to do over the next, 2 days or so is I'm going to get under here, and I've got to start unbolting this current setup, because I've got it held down with these like square, I don't know, what do you call them, like leaf spring bolts or whatever. But I got to get all this out of there, and what I'll probably do is I'll drag it out. I'll dump all the fluid out of it, and then I don't know what I'm going to run through it to try to clean it out. I really haven't thought about that yet. Maybe some sort of degreaser. I don't want to compromise any of the rubber, but I also want to clean the system enough to where when it comes time to put this in the jug, we'll be good. And that'll be another thing, because that pump over there doesn't have its own reservoir tank. We're going to mount the reservoir tank right here. And I think it's like a 5 or an 8 gallon tank. Now, if you remember back to that last video where the packer got inflated incorrectly, if we had a sight glass on this tank and we could have seen that we've used more fluid than normal, that would have told us that the packer had been inflated more than it ever had been, and that would have told us that we were in a void. So the way you fix this is you need to put a full and an empty line on your tank. Let me explain. So over here in this box is all of the stuff we need. So this is going to be the reservoir tank for the fluid. Now this is the company that we get our hydrofrack stuff from, Star Hydro. So basically what we're going to do is we'll put a line here like with a Sharpie, and that'll be full. And then the first job we do, let's just say that when we inflate the pump that the fluid level drops to this point here. So I'll make a mark here on the tank. Well, in the future, if we ever have to inflate the packer in an area that we haven't seen and we notice the fluid level is dropping below that point, we'll know that we need to stop and move the packer because the packer's inflating more than it's supposed to. It'll always be in a 6-inch borehole for us in our area, so it theoretically should always use with like 95% certainty the same amount of fluid. So we'll mark a full, we'll mark an empty, and if it ever passes that point, that'll be our indicator that we're in a void. And believe it or not, Star Hydro actually has documentation and a big pamphlet on inflating the packer and all that, and they actually explain that in the documents that he sent me, and honestly it makes total sense. But on our old metal tank, we didn't have that ability to physically see that, and I looked at it from the standpoint of the truck was on an angle, the fluid was going away from it. But even after I added 2 more quarts of fluid to it, I noticed that it wasn't building pressure, so I was like, yeah, we're just in a nasty spot. But it was the first time it had ever happened to me, so it kind of made me worried. But luckily we didn't pop it. But yeah, so that's what we've got going on here. I wanted to share with you the pump, and I'm excited to make some changes on this thing. And you know, it's been rocking since the early 1980s, and it has fracked over, you know, hundreds and hundreds of wells. So it's time to start updating it a little. It used to have a big steel tank on it, and we did update that to a lightweight plastic tank, and it seems to work. But you know, you tried things. This worked, but I think there is a better route we can go. And as far as the motor is concerned, I've had a couple people actually call me and email me. I got a local guy who's supposed to have one of these same motors at his house, and I think he's only about 10-15 minutes from me. So I think I might actually get that from him and rebuild that motor just cuz, and then do a direct swap, because right now the motor mounts and the transmission, the radiator, everything is a direct fit. So if I can get a motor or an engine like that I can rebuild personally here in the shop, we'll make some content on it, because I'm totally confident and capable of rebuilding an engine. Then we'll put it on here and you know, see what kind of stuff we find when we take that one apart versus the other one. But I do not want to take this off of the frack in running condition and try to rebuild it, because next thing you know, you start snapping bolts off and heads, and you know, you're forced to find another block at that point. Or I've been running it so long with a blow-by, I could find scarred cylinder walls, or who knows, like cylinders that are no longer true. They're, you know, kind of egg-shaped or whatever, to the slightest bit. But you know, projects upon projects upon projects, always something to do. And on top of the projects that you need to do, you also have your regular day-to-day jobs that you need to do. So what we're fixing to head out and do now after we eat lunch is we'll be heading to a fire department. So we're going to go to the fire department. We're going to help them hook up a well to fill their 10,000 gallon emergency storage tank. And that's what we're going to be doing later today. So you will catch that in the next video. I just wanted to make this one for you, catch up with you. I know I haven't had any content for you, so I figured, hey, why not? Got my truck all clean, got it blinged out, and we've got a lot of updates coming for the hydrofrack. So hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and we will see y'all later.